السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, today it is Wednesday, the 21st of Dhul-Qaada 1445. This matches the 29th of May 2024. And this is our session number 8, going through this booklet by the Sheikh Muhammad Jamil Zeyno, rahimahullah ta'ala, about the description of the Prophet's Hajj, عليه الصلاة والسلام. So the last thing we went through yesterday is the pilgrim arriving in Muzdalifah, al-Mash'ar al-Haram, combining between Maghrib and Isha, a combining of delay, meaning Maghrib and Isha being prayed at the time of Isha, مع قصر العشاء, alongside shortening Salat al-Isha, يعني the 4 rakat will be 2 rakat, بأذان واحد, with one adhan, وإقامتين, one adhan for both Maghrib and Isha, then إقامة for Salat al-Maghrib, then إقامة for Salat al-Isha, بدون صلاة السنة, without praying the sunnah. Without praying the sunnah, that is the sunnah that is attached to the Maghrib prayer in between. So no sunnah. You pray 3 rak'at Maghrib, then 2 rak'at for Isha. Then المبيت بمزدلفة بدون إحياء الليل, staying the night in Muzdalifah without praying the night prayer. Without praying the night prayer. Do you pray witr? Allah knows best. Yani we don't have a report that says Rasulullah ﷺ prayed the witr, but we have a general generally the guidance of Rasulullah ﷺ, as was mentioned yesterday, is he would, when he is a traveler, he would pray only the fara'id. He will not pray the sunnah attached to the 5 daily prayers, Sunan al-Rawatib, except for the Sunnah of Fajr, and the Sunnah of Witr. So we don't have a description there whether he prayed Witr or not. But we know he did not pray the night prayer. So he did not pray long as he used to pray. Witr is from 1 rak'ah up to 11. So you pray, Allah knows best. You pray the witr, but you do not elongate your prayer. You don't elongate your prayer. وعليه صلاة الفجر في وقتها. And it is upon, that's the last piece that we reached. وعليه, and upon him, it is a duty upon him to pray Salat al-Fajr, the Fajr prayer, في وقتها, on its time, on time. Next is الوقوف عند المشعر الحرام, to stand at المشعر الحرام. Mash'ar, the word mash'ar, it means a landmark, an important site, right? And here it is the site that is haram, inviolable site, yani sacred. And they use the word holy also. So it is a place that is given special status. And all the masha'ir is like that, the different sites. They are given status because they are the sites where pilgrimage is done. He said, so al-mash'ar al-haram. He said, وَالْمُزْدَلِفَةُ كُلُّهَا مَشْعَرٌ. All of the area of al-Muzdalifah, all of it is a site, is a sacred site for standing there. Now, the word standing does not mean literally standing on the feet, right, in a standing position. It means you are there. It means you are there, even if you are sitting, or you're riding your animal, or you're sitting in your car, as a passenger in the bus or whatever, as long as you are there. And al-Mash'ar al-Haram, there is a specific area in al-Muzdalifah where Rasulullah ﷺ was, And it is said that the masjid that they have now in that area in Muzdalifah is the actual site where Rasulullah SAW was. The actual location within the site of Al-Muzdalifah, that's where he stood, that's where he was, alayhi salatu wasalam. But he is highlighting here that Al-Muzdalifah, all of it is a mash'ar, is a site, is a place, is a location where you would stay. All of it. So normally, each group, they will assign them, the Muzdalifah is like, you can think of it, as I mentioned before, like a huge parking lot. And that parking lot is divided into lot number 1, lot number 2, lot number 3, lot number 4. It's just here we have them on top of each other. This is now, you have an open area with just one level floor. And the ground, there isn't, it's either dust or asphalt. That's what they have. Some places will have asphalt, some places will have just dust. So each group, they will assign them, they will send them to lot 1 or lot 2 or lot 3, like that. So wherever you go, as long as it is Muzdalifah, you are okay. So he would be there, مستقبل القبلة, facing the Qibla, داعيا, making dua to Allah, حامدا مكبرا مهللا, حامدا, praising Allah Azza wa Jal, alhamdulillah, مكبرا, doing takbir, glorification, aggrandizing Allah Azza wa Jal, doing takbir, saying Allahu Akbar, muhallilan, saying La ilaha illallah, حتى ظهور نور الصباح, up until the light of the morning shows up, emerges, ظهور. And remember, you're still doing labbaika too. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Then التوجه من المزدلفة إلى منى قبل أن تطلع الشمس. Then moving on from Al-Muzdalifah to Mina before the sun rises. So يبقى, he said, حتى ظهور نور الصباح in the hadith, حتى أسفر جدا. So the dawn has come, you prayed Fajr at the beginning of its time, and then you remain there facing the Qibla, doing dhikr and dua, up until close to the time of sunrise. And let's say maybe, it becomes more lit up. Let's say half hour, 20 minutes, something like this, where it becomes lit up. Then you move on before the sun rises. You move on to Mina. So Rasulullah SAW, he went from there to the Jamrat. And mainly the Salat, the day of Eid is only one Jamrah, and that is Jamrat al-Aqaba, the location of stoning that is called al-Aqaba. Al-Kubra, the grand one, because it is the grand one. You have grand, before it is the medium, and before it is the smaller one. The smaller one is the one nearest to Mina. Then next after that is the medium. Then next is Al-Aqaba, which is the one in Mina. All of this is in Mina, at the border of, this is the Jamrat Al-Aqaba Al-Kubra, the greater one, is the closest to Mecca, and they are just after each other, and it's just few hundred meters between one and the other. Especially now, after they enlarged them and made the place more spacious, and they now have even different floors, not only one ground floor, but they have different floors where people can stone. So Rasulullah SAW went directly from Muzdalifah to Jamrat al-Aqaba. Now, what happens with the pilgrims, unless you have your own ride or you walk on your own, you will be able to go directly to the Al-Aqaba, Jamrat al-Aqaba al-Kubra. But what happens is that they actually عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. They actually, if they take you by bus, they will actually take you to your tent. They will take you to your tent in Mina. That's where they will take you. They will not take you to the Jamra. They will take you to the tent, wherever your tent is in Mina. And for us, the Europeans and the Americans, North American people, it's like towards the end of Mina, the end, at the border with Al-Muzdalifa, actually. So you need to walk from there, from your tent, about 45-minute walk to 1 hour walk. So that's how it is. And you will not be taken, if you go by bus, you will not be taken to the Jamra. You will be taken to your tent. And that's how they do it. طيب. So next is, he says, الذهاب إلى الجمرة الكبرى ضحى. Going to the greater location of stoning, الجمرة الكبرى, ضحى, at the ضحى time. ضحى time starts after sunrise, just after sunrise. That's the time of ضحى. ورميها يوم النحر, and stoning it on the day of sacrifice, that's the day of Eid, بسبع حصيات, with 7 stones, 7 pebbles. قدر الحمصة. حمص. I usually say حمصة as a slang. حمصة. حمص. Chickpea, a chickpea, the size of a chickpea. والتكبير مع كل حصاه, and saying الله أكبر, takbir, along with every pebble or every stone. You say Allahu Akbar with every stone. طيب. Yes, so 7 stones, he says قدر الحمصة, يعني the size of a chickpea. And you don't use like a big rock, a rock that fills your hand to use it as a stone. You need something like the size of a chickpea. يعني not the very small chickpea, but the big chickpea. يعني. And التكبير مع كل حصاه, saying Allahu Akbar along with every pebble. ويمتد وقت الرمي إلى الليل. The time of stoning extends to the night time. So it starts at duha time, and if you do throughout the day till Maghrib, still that's okay, no issues whatsoever. Then if you couldn't do it then at night time, you can still do it at night time. بعد رمي الجمرة الكبرى, after stoning, the greater location of stoning, والحلق أو التقصير, حلق, shaving, or shortening, يكون التحلل الأصغر. Then that will be the أصغر, smaller, تحلل, releasing yourself from ihram, coming out of ihram, after stoning جمرة العقبة الكبرى. This is the position that the Sheikh is taking, and inshallah it is the right one. But still, يعني, there is this difference of opinion between the scholars. Some of them say you need to do more than the stoning. Right? يعني الحلق والتقصير, shaving or shortening, that's one thing. But then you have the slaughtering and you have the tawaf. So they say you need to do 2 of the 3 things. Halq and taqsir, this is on the side. It's not involved. You need to do the stoning and slaughtering, or tawaf, or tawaf and slaughtering. So 2 of the 3 things, and they won't include they say the shortening or the shaving has nothing to do with tahallul al-asghar, with the minor tahallul, minor release. Minor release now, it means everything becomes halal for you except for women, intercourse and what leads to it. But everything else becomes halal, meaning you will take off your towel, you will take off your izar and rida, you can trim your nails, you can shave cut whatever hairs you want to cut, you can put perfume, you wear your normal clothing, right? You're not. So this is tahallul asghar. That's why they call it minor or smaller, releasing yourself from ihram. Because all of these things become allowable for you except for intercourse and what leads to it. So this 2 of 3 is what is normally widespread, especially there, the Hanbali madhab. And this is the case. But then if you stone, as in the hadith, there is a hadith that if you stone, then things become halal. Even halq and taqsir, the shortening and the shaving, has nothing to do with it. If you stone, فقد حللتم, you become halal. التحلل الأصغر, that is the minor type of release. Next he says رمي الجمرات الثلاث في كل يوم منها بعد الظهر ويجوز التوكيل بالرمي عن الضعفاء. Right? And here he's not mentioning in the order because يعني we mentioned before that you stone, rami, then slaughtering, nahr, then halq, the shaving or shortening, then the tawaf. These are the actions of the day of Al-Eid. So normally you go and stone. After that, Rasulullah ﷺ, after stoning, he went and he slaughtered with his own hand, right? 63 animals he did with his own hand. The rest of them he let Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu finish the slaughtering. For us, yani, usually it's paid off and they will do on your behalf. They will do on your behalf. So the Hajj groups, they would be contracting some companies that will do the slaughtering on your behalf. So they usually they make a phone call and tell you, okay, all are slaughtered. Because specifically the brothers who follow the Hanafi madhab, brothers and sisters, they won't release unless they know that slaughtering is done. So that's a major thing for them. So they wait until they are told slaughtering is done. Then after that, they will shave. They will not shave or shorten until they are told that. Right? Although Allah knows best, it is allowed, but this is the case. So I mean, usually the Hajj companies, they try to do things in a way that that everybody will be pleased if they can. There is no need to make people feel that they have done something wrong or they have fallen short without يعني, a good reason. So that especially it is the sunnah to do this in order. It is the sunnah to do these things in order. So that is the case. So he goes on to talk about stoning the 3 jamrat. That's the next day. But in the same day, it will come, inshallah. The same day, you do the nahr, the slaughtering, and then the shaving. And this way, you come out of your ihram, you change. Usually, the people go to their rooms, they take a shower, they change their clothes, they wear their shirts, they put on perfume and all of that. And then now they move to do the tawaf in the Kaaba. After you change, yeah, you can keep your ihram if you want, but that's not the sunnah. Yeah. That's not the sunnah. Some people will keep their ihram. Why? If they started with the tawaf first, they will not go to Mina. From Muzdalifah by bus, they will take them to the tawaf. Why? Because to run away from the crowds. So if you go do the tawaf in the morning, more than likely the people of Mecca will be praying Salatul Eid in Al-Masjid Al-Haram. So those people, they go there, they don't pray Salatul Eid. They just do tawaf. And if they are mutamatti'un, doing tamattu, they do tawaf and sa'i. Right? Then they go back to Mina. Or they may choose to shorten their hair or shave. And this way they become, they become halal, right? They have done, according to the fatwa that's widely spread there, you do 2 from the 3, right? So the 3 being the stoning, the shaving, and the tawaf. The slaughtering is not considered one of the 3, right? According to the widespread fatwa there. Right. طيب. But different, as I said, different ways people look at it in a different way. That this is what is more on the Hanbali madhab. But Allah knows best. If you stone Jamrat al-Aqaba, then the minor tahallul is open for you to do. However, the order in the Sunnah, as was mentioned, it is stoning, then slaughtering, then shaving. Then you change your clothes and you put on perfume, you have a shower. This is the right order. And we should keep that. We shouldn't do otherwise, unless we are we have to do it that way. Let's say if your group have chosen that they will take you to do tawaf first, so you will follow your group. طيب. So he says, after stoning the greater location of Jamra, of stoning, والحلق والتقصير, يكون التحلل الأصغر, that will be the minor release from the ihram. Everything becomes halal except for intercourse and what leads to it. Then he says, رمي الجمرات الثلاث, stoning the 3 locations of stoning, في كل يوم منها, in every day of them, that's the day of the 11th, 12th and 13th of the Hijjah, بعد الظهر, after ظهر, after the time of ظهر. ويجوز التوكيل بالرمي عن الضعفاء, and it is allowed to do توكيل, يعني to have someone act as your agent, to appoint someone to act on your behalf. توكيل بالرمي, to stone, عن الضعفاء, for those who are weak. Let's say someone who's like on a wheelchair, and for him or her to go from the tent in Mina, imagine يعني 45 minutes to 1 hour, they need someone to push them, or they are unable, يعني even they go there, they cannot stand to stone. So the likes of this, الضعفاء, or some kids who are small, right? They have someone to do on their behalf. Of course, if you are able, you should not have someone do it on your behalf. Many times the women, they take this easy. They don't want to go. They just, that's not supposed to be like that. If the woman cannot do it, or if it is way too crowded, it was before, but not anymore now. Not anymore. After they had those different levels, it's not the same. But if someone is sick, even you don't have to be sick, like about to die, sick, you can't. You walk, or you're dizzy or drowsy, you can throw up and like that. So you have someone do it on your behalf. Another way is to combine the stoning. Let's say on the 11th you are sick, you leave it, and on the 12th you go, you stone on the 11th, for the 11th, and you stone on the 12th. So that these are two ways. Either you have someone on your behalf, or you do 2 days in 1 day, let's say. Right? That's one way of doing it. Next, he says, الذبح للقارن والمتمتع, to offer the sacrifice. This is what should be number 13 here. That should be number 12 there, because after the stoning, the day of Eid, we are still in the day of Eid. He went to the stoning of the 3 days, then back to slaughtering for, this is the day of Eid. So the order should be like that. Slaughtering for the one who is performing Qiran and the one who is performing Tamattu'. Hajj Qiran and Hajj Tamattu', both of them, the person is doing Umrah and Hajj together. Both of them are considered Umrah and Hajj together. The difference is the Mutamatti', he will perform Umrah and he will release himself from the Ihram, becomes completely halal, up until the 8th day of Dhul Hijjah comes, then he will declare the Ihram for Hajj. That's the Mutamatti', which most of the people do. Al-Qiran is Hajj and Umrah also, but what happens is, after you declare your Hajj, you do not come out of Ihram until the day of Eid. Until the day of Eid. But both of them, they have to offer a sacrifice. While the person who is performing a single Hajj, he does not have to offer a sacrifice. He can if he wants, or she can if she wants, but it is not a requirement. It's not a requirement part of the single Hajj. But Qiran and Tamattu' you are required to slaughter. قال فمن لم يجد من المتمتعين, فمن لم يجد, so the one who couldn't find of the ones who are performing Tamattu', couldn't find what? Financially, meaning financially was unable, he couldn't do it. Or let's say even he couldn't find an animal to slaughter, which is not the case, but suppose he wanted to buy an animal to slaughter it and he couldn't. No animals. Let's say that year there is an issue in animals, or this year they're talking for udhiyah. This is not for the Hajj. Yani. Australia has an issue with their animals, so some Muslim countries are having difficulty to have sheep because they used to import the sheep from there, but something happened to Australia this year. Their animals or something, many of them died or something like that. But if someone is unable to offer the sacrifice, yani he doesn't have the money, let's say, but he did Hajj Tamattu, what is the replacement of the sacrifice? فصيام 3 أيام في الحج و7 إذا رجع. So he would fast 3 days during the Hajj time. While he is there, he will do the 3 days, and then he will fast 7 days when he goes back home to his country. So like 3 and 7, 10 days. That's 10 days of fast replaces the offering of the sacrifice. If you do not have the ability to offer a sacrifice, then you fast 3 days during the days of Hajj, then 7 when you go back. And usually the fasting of the days of Tashriq, the 11th, 12th, and 13th of Dhul-Hijjah, it's not allowed. It is not allowed to fast these days, except for the pilgrim who is unable to offer the sacrifice. He can fast even these days. Right? Even these days he can fast them. Next is ذبح شاة عن واحد. It is slaughtering one shah, one sheep, one animal for one person. أو جمل أو بقرة أو ذبح جمل أو بقرة عن 7 في مكة أو منى. Or you offer a camel or a cow for 7, يعني 7 people, either in Mecca or in Mina. Mecca or in Mina, يعني within the boundaries of the Haram. والأكل منها, and to eat from them. ومدة الذبح إلى رابع أيام العيد, and the time period of slaughtering, it is 2, يعني it extends to the 4th day of the Eid. So you can offer the sacrifice on the day of Eid, that's the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah, or the 3 days after it, 11th, 12th, and 13th, up until sunset of the 13th. Right? That is the time when you can offer the sacrifice, and you can either offer one sheep, one animal for yourself, or you can share with others. Yani 1/7 of a cow or a camel. So you are 7 people. You can buy one camel or one cow. And let's say the price is 700. So each one of you gives 100, 100, 100. So 700. Right? 1/7. Or you buy one sheep for yourself. Right? Either one sheep. You cannot share in the sheep. So if the sheep is like $300, you cannot say, okay, the 3 of us, 100. You don't share a sheep. You do not share a sheep. Sheep is just for one person. You can share in the camel or in the cow, and you have 7 people. You have 7 people, up to 7. If 3 shared a cow or a camel, that's okay. They did more. Right? But each one does 1/7. طواف الإفاضة. Next is طواف الإفاضة بدون رمل, between brackets إسراع. Now you stoned, you offered your sacrifice, you shaved or you trimmed, and you showered and changed into your clothes, and now you did minor tahallul, minor coming out of the state of ihram, minor release from the ihram. You have done that. You're finished with that. So now you go to طواف الإفاضة. طواف الإفاضة or طواف الزيارة, they call it. This is one of the pillars of Hajj. One of the pillars of Hajj. You do it بدون رمل, without ramal, which is without brisk walking now. The brisk walking or going fast or jogging, this is in tawaf al-qudum, the first tawaf of arrival. That's when you do it. But in this tawaf now, there is no, and also there is no ittiba', no showing of the right shoulder. Why there isn't showing of the right shoulder? Because you're already wearing your clothes, your normal clothes. You already are changed into your normal clothes. ومن بقي في لباس الإحرام فلا يكشف كتفه. And the one who stayed in the ihram clothing, he does not show his shoulder. Let's say, like I mentioned, your group, they decided to do the tawaf first. So you're still in your towels. Even you are in your towels, you don't show your right shoulder. You just do, and you don't run. Even if you are wearing your ihram clothing, the towels, you don't do that, because that only is for the tawaf of arrival, tawaf al-qudum, the circling, the circumambulation of coming or arrival to Mecca. But this tawaf, no need for ittiba', no need of showing the right shoulder, and no need for jogging. والإحلال بعده الحل كله. And to ihlal, to release yourself from ihram, after this tawaf of ifada, الحل كله, all the release, you're released completely from ihram. He says السعي للمتمتع, performing sa'i for the one who is doing tamattu'. The one who is performing hajj or performing qiran, if he made or she made tawaf and sa'i first when they arrived to Mecca, they do not need to do sa'i again between Safa and Marwa. They only do the tawaf around the Kaaba. This is the one doing single hajj or doing qiran. They do only يعني tawaf and sa'i one time. They don't have to do twice. They don't do twice. So if this person's performing single hajj or qiran, they came to Mecca and they did tawaf around the Kaaba. Then they did sa'i after that. When they go back again on the day of Eid, they do only tawaf al-ifada around the Kaaba. They don't have to do sa'i again. They don't have to do sa'i again. But if when they came, they didn't go to the Kaaba, then they can do the tawaf and the sa'i, tawaf al-ifada and the sa'i after it. As for the mutamatta', he has to do 2 tawaf and 2 sa'i. 1 tawaf for Umrah, 1 tawaf, 1 sa'i for Umrah, and 1 tawaf for Hajj, 1 sa'i for Umrah. 1 tawaf and sa'i for his Umrah, and 1 tawaf and sa'i for his Hajj. That's the mutamatta'. And there is a discussion here. Some of the scholars, they say, no, even the mutamatta', he doesn't have to do 2 sa'i, but Allah knows best. And this is the way. The one who's doing Hajj tamattu', he does 2 tawaf and 2 sa'i. The tawaf and sa'i, the first one is for his Umrah, the second tawaf and second sa'i for his Hajj. Unlike the one who's doing single Hajj, mufrid, ifrad, or doing qiran. He said so, as-sa'yu lil-mutamatta', performing sa'i for the one who's doing Hajj tamattu', وَلِمَنْ لَمْ يَسْعَ مِنَ الْقَارِنِينَ. And for the one who did not perform sa'i, of those who are doing qiran. They have to do the sa'i. And the tawaf and sa'i will work for their hajj and their umrah, both. Number 17, الرجوع إلى منى, going back to Mina. والمكث فيها أيام العيد الثلاثة الأخيرة. Going back, so now you did your tawaf al-ifada, you went to Mecca, the Kaaba, you did tawaf and sa'i, and now you go back to Mina. والمكث فيها, and staying in it for the 3 days of Eid, the 3 days of Eid, the last 3 days of Eid, 11th, 12th, and 13th. So 11th and 12th you have to, but the 13th is optional, but it's better, it's the sunnah. Number 18, الطواف للوداع واجب وفي تركه ذبح شاه. The farewell tawaf is a must, and leaving it will incur slaughtering a sheep, So this is now, you went back to Mina, you stayed that night, the night preceding the 11th. Then on the 11th you went and stoned after Dhuhr. You go back to your tent, you sleep the night there. On the 12th you go back again and you stone the 3 jamrat after Dhuhr. Either you choose to leave or you choose to go back and stay the 3rd night, which is the sunnah. You stay there, and in the morning you go after Dhuhr and stone the 3 jamrat. Then you leave now. You leave Mina. If you are going home after that, you cannot leave without doing the farewell tawaf. Tawaf al-wada' is a must for the pilgrims. They must do tawaf al-wada'. Only one that is given exception is the woman who got her period. She's excused from doing tawaf al-wada'. But the rest, they have to do it. If they left without doing it, then they will have to compensate for that by offering a sheep. The footnotes here, I didn't go through them. Al-Qarin, he says, من أحرم بعمرة وحج معا يكفيه سعي واحد. The one who is performing Qiran is the one who declared Ihram for Umrah and Hajj together, without the break in between, without the release in between. He sufficed to do one sa'i. And second, al-mutamatta', the one who performing tawattу', man ata bi umrah fi ashhur al-hajj, the one who performed umrah during the months of hajj, thumma tahallal, then he released himself from the umrah, thumma ata bil hajj, then he performed hajj, wa huwa alladhi amara bihi ar-rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This hajj tamattu' is what the messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam commanded the companions to do. We will stop here inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. So we will stop here inshallah for the adhan to be called, and then tomorrow we continue inshallah. Actually tomorrow is tomorrow inshallah. Tomorrow we continue بإذن الله تعالى. Tomorrow Thursday inshallah we continue at 8 o'clock inshallah. inshallah. طيب.